The Philippines is one of the most Catholic countries in the world. But some Filipinos now believe that traditional teachings on contraception are condemning millions to a life of poverty. And a radical plan to provide free birth control is challenging the power of the Church as never before.
It's not the business of the government to be promoting contraceptive devices.
We are here to celebrate and defend life. Are you with me?
What is the alternative? No? Should I keep quiet?
But with neither side willing to back down, who will win this increasingly bitter battle between the president and the pulpit? Lunch in Tondo, one of the largest slums in Manila. For 42-year-old Clarissa Canayon, finding each meal is a struggle. Large families are common here. Clarissa and her husband Danilo have 10 children, the youngest of whom is baby Daniela. The family home is this one-bedroom shack with no electricity. Danilo is rarely able to find work, so the family live a hand-to-mouth existence.
Often we have nothing to eat, and when my kids are sick, we have to pawn whatever we have. That's why half of our stuff is always pawned.
To help out, Clarissa's children work here. In the slums, many children have to skip school to scavenge rubbish dumps for anything they can sell. It's a grinding cycle of poverty from which the young have little chance of escape.
It hurts because my kids really want to go to school. But since my husband can't find a job, I have to ask them to stay at home and find work. It pains me, but what can I do? Sometimes it comes to a point where my husband and I fight, discussing the kids' future. We don't have enough money for all of them to finish their studies.
Like the majority of people in the Philippines, Clarissa and her family are devout Catholics. Contraception is legal, but most people here have been brought up to believe that using it is a sin. But now Clarissa, like many others, has begun to think the unthinkable.
I used to believe in the Church's teachings about having lots of children, but now I really think we should have family planning.
But contraception is out of the reach of many. Condoms are readily available, but one packet costs more than families like this have to live on for a week. The government believes that something has to change if the country's to advance. So it's proposed legislation to provide free birth control and family planning advice to anybody who wants it. In this society, where conservative Christian values have long held sway, the reproductive health bill has caused an unholy row between politicians and priests.
The Catholic Church remains incredibly powerful here in the Philippines. Abortion is illegal, and this is now the only country in the world where Catholics still can't divorce. So President Aquino's plan to introduce free contraception has put him on a collision course with the Church.
Itong mga gagamiting birth control devices
More than 80% of the population are Catholic, and the Church has put its full weight behind efforts to prevent Parliament passing the bill.
As we strongly reject the RHB.
Bishop Teodoro Bacani says the government is acting in defiance of the nation's wishes.
When it comes to the Philippines, here, the majority even are Catholics, no? And here the government will promote and fund as essential medicine. Can you imagine that? As essential medicine, means of birth control, which are against the teaching of the Church, and we believe against the natural law, against the will of God. It's not the business of the government to be promoting contraceptive devices. It will be like, say, the government will pass a law which will fund the promotion of pork eating among the Muslims. Now, can you imagine what an uproar there would be among the Muslim population?
Celebrate Jesus, celebrate. Samahan niyo na malakas sa sigaw! Celebrate Jesus, celebrate. Samahan ng luksan at sumisigaw!
The Church has mustered a huge publicity campaign and mass protest rallies to try and influence legislators to oppose the bill. It's a tactic that's worked before. This is the 6th time a bill like this has been put forward. Each previous version has been seen off by the Church without it even coming to a vote.
We have an egg, we have a sperm, they meet together, and then we have a fertilized egg or a zygote. Is that fertilized egg already a human being?
This time, reformers are more hopeful because the government has made the bill one of its main priorities. Those who are proposing the legislation say that ultimately they're fighting for the rights of Philippine women.
The most controversial part of our bill simply says no Filipino should be denied information and access to family planning. That's all that it says. And yet in this benighted country, as if we were living in the Middle Ages, that is considered heresy. Why is there so much opposition to information? We just want the poor Filipino woman to know what are the ways of family planning. If she wants to reject all of them, that's fine. There's no compulsion. Every single day, 11 mothers die from pregnancy and childbirth complications. This means that every year, some 3,000 to 5,000 Filipinas die simply because they did not know about reproductive health methods or did not have access to facilities.
Much of the debate, both inside and outside Parliament, has centred on the question of exactly when life begins. This is the core message of the Church's campaign against the bill. It equates contraception with abortion, which is illegal under the Philippine Constitution.
Our main objection to it is this, that according to the bill, the government is going to fund and to promote the distribution as essential medicine of contraceptive devices, many of which are, in fact, abortion-causing.
So in your view, are contraceptives like the IUD, like the pill, exactly the same as abortion?
Yes.
There is absolutely no direct connection between contraception on the one hand and abortion on the other hand. Contraception means the use of a barrier so that the egg and the sperm will never meet. If they never meet, you can never get pregnant, you can never have fertilization.
The Church says it's not opposed to family planning, but it says the answer is what it calls natural contraception, such as the rhythm method and abstinence from sex.
My own proposal is this, and this will be very effective, I'm sure. Just tell the Filipino people, you know, we need you to be responsible parents. And responsible parenthood means planning your families. And planning your families means that you should try to bring into this world those children and only those children whom you can raise up in a human and Christian way. If the church and the government and the NGOs all deliver that unified message, you will see that there will not be these problems of the poor even, reproducing much more.
It has absolutely no relation to reality. These bishops have not been married. They don't realize what the sexual urges are capable of doing. And to claim exclusivity or a monopoly of knowledge is always a dangerous situation.
Almost a third of the Philippine population live on less than $1 a day, according to government figures. And supporters of the reproductive health bill say its success is a vital step in reducing these numbers living in poverty. So what do you think the consequences would be for the country if the bill doesn't pass?
First, will be the joke of the international community. In addition, the Philippines will sound very much like it's still in the dark ages.
Do you think the Philippines is out of step with the rest of the world?
Yes, I think we are different from the rest of the world, and happily we are.
The Philippines has the highest birth rate in Southeast Asia, and its health system is struggling to cope.
Supporters of the bill say you just need to come to places like this to see why it's so urgently needed. There are often 2 or even 3 mothers to every bed here in this maternity ward.
517 Mayordomo RD 738.
Because there are so many patients, for example, in 2 beds, there are 5 to 6 mothers, so they are just sitting, they just lie